So boys and girls, in order to do our project, the very first thing you're going to have to decide is what is your base shape. And in art, there are two types of shapes, geometric and organic. Geometric shapes are ones like this. They have a name. There are rules about their angles. They're the ones that you learn about in math or in a class called geometry. They are geometric shapes. Then there are organic shapes. Think about your organic vegetables. Organic implies things from nature. They don't necessarily have a name. You could call them blobs if you wanted to. They're just shapes that look like they were inspired by something you would find in nature. Like here, they might look like bird nests. And you can even take a geometric shape, and by bending it or twisting it, it will start to look more organic. Here are examples of someone who took just a simple rectangular cube and they twisted it in different ways to make it look organic. Now in this example, I took kind of just a rectangular three-dimensional thing and put a little circle on top, a little marble shaped, and whereas that other one is more organic. Now you're going to start off by taking your clay and setting aside 4 pieces that are about the size of a lima bean, a little bigger than a green pea. And I'm going to set them aside 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to be using those for your eyelids, but also for a little extra for things to give expression. I've decided that I kind of want to make a rectangular cube. So in order to get that flat size, all you have to do is press it against the table. The table is perfectly flat, and if you keep rotating your piece of clay around, you will eventually start to get some nice flat sides for your shape. You're also going to be using your finger to just kind of carefully just get rid of some of those little cracks in there and stuff and firm it up so that you can start to think about your eyeball. You can also, that triangular prism, that's something that has 3 sides. So you'll see I'm taking my wad of clay and I'm pressing it down, making 3 different sides. And if you look at it here, you can see, wow, this looks pretty good. And that's just for me pressing against the table. And then to make it into a prism, I actually started to pinch it upwards. Now again, if I take that shape and I bend it over or twist it, it's going to start to be more organic. Now our next steps are going to be putting the lower eyelid and then putting the upper eyelid on your shape. So I'm starting with my shape here, and the first thing I'm going to do is kind of like make caterpillars off to the side. I'm getting 3 of them ready. I may not even need the third, and that extra I'll just leave it right there. And now I'm going to be taking my eyeball and I'm going to figure out, do I want it up high? Do I want it low in the corner? And when you take it, you're just going to push it in, but you're not going to like try and push it all the way into the middle. For your lower eyelid, you're going to take that caterpillar, you're going to line it up near the bottom, and you're just going to curve it upwards. Now, when you do this, you want to leave that edge that's next to the eyeball. You want to try and touch that as little as possible. This is an example of someone that smashed it against the eyeball rather than just leaving that edge near the eyeball alone. Now, the part of the caterpillar on the other side of the eyeball, that you want to start flattening out and getting that to blend into your shape, just the way it is on your face. On your face, that lower eyelid, you can see the edge of it. And then as it goes down towards your cheek, it blends right in. Here again, you don't want to smash that eyelid into the plastic eye. Now I'm taking my other caterpillar and I'm putting that near the top. If you look at some of the eyeball guides that I have for you, depending on how much you cover the iris, the colorful part of your eye, you could make your person look very sleepy. You could make them look like they just drank 3 cups of coffee. You can make them look like they're being sarcastic. There's so many ways that you can change the way you put on those eyelids. Now that little red ballish thing you have that is kind of close to where your tears come out is called a caruncle. Think of a car and your uncle. It's a caruncle. And to make our caruncle, you're going to be taking that little wooden skewer and you're just going to pull off a little bit there and get it all nice and gorgeous, just like that. And now you have a pretty realistic eye. From here, you can again look at the eye guides and say, oh yeah, sure enough, there's kind of like a saggy thing underneath that eye to make it look tired. All you have to do is take the caterpillar and you can roll it out even skinnier into like a worm. Or, I mean, there's so many different things you could do with it. Here I'm putting it under the eye to make him look a little more tired. But I am going to have to blend that clay into my sculpture. I kind of like this tool because I can almost just roll it like a little miniature rolling pin to ease in that edge into the back of it so that it looks a little bit more natural. There's also kind of a fold of skin above your upper eyelid. And so if you want to put that in there as well, it's totally up to you. And again, I'm using my little tiny rolling pin there to just kind of blend it into my sculpture. And then I can go back and fine tune it. You can also take the side of a popsicle stick if you just want to put a few little grooves into there. Again, just keep looking at the eye guides so that you can see realistically what people would do to either make someone look older or to make them look tired. Now, as for the eyeball, be creative in your placement. You could put your eyeball on the side, you could have it down there on the bottom. However you want your shape to place, if you want it to stand up or to lay down, you can have kind of fun where you put your eyeball. The other thing is a lot of kids have been putting their eyeball just flat, but I want you to think about possibly digging your eyeball into there sideways so that your eyeball is maybe looking upward or that it's looking downward. When you do that, you're going to see that your eyeball is sticking out a lot. So when you put on your caterpillar, it might work, but then you're going to need another caterpillar back there to fill in that space that's left over. And then I was finding that my bottom eyelid needed to be pretty skinny. You can always go and clean it up. You can pull it down a little bit. Here I am putting it on again. And then you can also, here I am, I decided I want them to be looking up instead. Now, if you end up with your clay over your eyeball, it's not a disaster. All you have to do is take a popsicle stick and just say, I'm in charge of you, clay. I want you off my eyeball. And you can just scrape it away like that to get back to your eye shape. And just like that, it doesn't look bad. I mean, it's kind of cool. Here, I scraped it away. And then I actually took another caterpillar and put it on top. And just like that, it just looks like it's ready to go. Way better. And as soon as I blend that into the background, I'm good to go. A lot of you will have like a hazy look on your eyeball after you're finished. Just take a dry Q-tip and just kind of get off that kind of haze that's on there. So when you sit down, you're going to take your 4 pieces of clay about the size of a lima bean, a little bigger than a green pea. And then you're going to figure out your shape. That part will probably be the thing that takes you the most time. You'll figure out your eyeball placement, and you'll put on your lower lid, and then you'll put on your upper lid. Go have fun.